The young Tainá with the cute was 17 years old when, at midnight in the forest, he found 33 white women who had no belly buttons, and one of them chose him to be the father of her daughter, who will become the next guardian of the white women's village in the Amazon. I am Kanauã, the shaman of my village, and I have lived in this jungle for more than 60 moons. And this is the story of the secret village of white women in the Amazon and the young indigenous boy who found it. For generations, my people have known a truth that few believe. Deep in the heart of the Amazon, there is a mysterious village, a village where only women are born. Women with skin pale as the full moon, hair as white as silver, eyes as light as the morning sky. They are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are something between human and beings from another world. Only 4 times a year, on the most powerful full moon nights, a secret passage opens in the forest. But there is an ancient rule. The entrance only reveals itself at exactly midnight, and whoever enters must leave before 5 a.m., when the first rays of sun penetrate the dense forest. The Indigenous, who know the legend, enter the jungle at nightfall, spending hours searching for the passage in complete darkness. Only at midnight does it reveal itself to the chosen, and those who find it partake in a sacred feast with the white maidens. This is how the village continues to exist, always producing white women. But there are old rules that cannot be broken. Those who stay past dawn lose their memory and sight forever. This is the story of Tainá, a young hunter from my tribe, brave, impatient, determined to prove the legend was real. It was a full moon night, the 4th of the year. Tainá waited for the sun to set completely. At 6 p.m., he entered the forest. He carried only 3 things: a stone knife, a bow and amulet that belonged to his grandfather, and the certainty that the village existed. His grandfather found the passage once, 40 years ago. He never forgot it, but he could never return. Before he died, he told Tainá, "The forest tests you before it accepts you. You will search for hours in the darkness. You will doubt. You will want to give up. But if you are worthy at exactly midnight, the passage will appear." Tainá entered the thick forest. The darkness was absolute. The full moon shone in the sky, but the canopy was so dense that almost no light reached the ground. Tainá walked blindly, tripping over roots, dodging invisible branches. The cold of the night seeped into his bones, and the sounds were unsettling. Creaks, whispers, constant movement all around, as if the entire forest were alive, watching. By 8 p.m., Tainá saw something. White flowers glowing on the ground ahead. His heart raced. The trail, he ran toward them. But when he arrived, the flowers had vanished, as if they had never existed. Tainá took a deep breath. The forest is testing me. He kept walking. No clear direction, just following his intuition. By 9 p.m., he saw footprints in the mud. Small footprints, feminine, barefoot, fresh. He touched the mud, still damp. Someone passed here, recently. But when he looked around, nothing, just darkness and silence. Tainá followed the footprints. They led him to a clearing, and at the center of the clearing was a black jaguar, sitting, motionless, staring straight at him. Tainá froze. The jaguar didn't move, didn't growl. It just watched. Its yellow eyes shone in the darkness, but there was something different in them. Tainá remembered his grandfather's words. If the guardian appears before midnight, don't run, don't attack, just wait. She is deciding if you are worthy. Tainá lowered his knife, sat on the ground, and looked into the jaguar's eyes. They stayed that way for almost an hour, unmoving, unblinking, man and beast, measuring each other. By 10:30 p.m., the jaguar finally rose. It walked slowly to the left of the clearing, stopped, looked back, as if to say, "Follow me." Tainá stood and followed. The jaguar guided him through the dark forest, along invisible trails, between ancient trees, and then it stopped in front of a river, a narrow river with perfectly clear waters that shimmered with silver light. The jaguar entered the water, crossed to the other side, and vanished into the darkness. Tainá looked at the river, then at the sky through the canopy. The moon was nearly at its peak. Only a few minutes until midnight. This is it. It has to be here. Tainá stepped into the water. The water was freezing, reaching his chest. Every step was a struggle. The current was strong, invisible yet powerful. And then it happened. Tainá began to see images, flashes of memory. But they weren't his memories. He saw his grandfather, young, crossing the same river decades ago. He saw other men from previous generations also crossing, and he saw himself. Oh, white-haired, smiling, holding a shell necklace. The river of memory, Tainá whispered. He stepped out of the river on the other side and looked ahead. Total darkness. Nothing had changed. Tainá felt a pang of disappointment. Did I fail the test? And then he heard it, a distant sound, like crystal bells or women's laughter. He looked up at the sky. The moon was exactly at its zenith, midnight, and at that moment the forest changed. The darkness dissolved like mist. Lit torches appeared in a circle around him, and Tainá saw white women, dozens of them, standing in a semicircle, watching him, long white hair down to their waists, skin pale as the full moon, wearing silver robes that glowed with their own light, all of them staring at him, in absolute silence. Tainá couldn't breathe. The passage had opened. One of the women stepped forward. Her eyes were completely white. No pupils, no irises, just white. She opened her mouth and spoke, but it wasn't a language Tainá knew. It was ancient, older, as if it came from the earth itself. And yet, he understood perfectly. You search for 6 hours in the darkness, face your fears, respected the guardian, cross the river of memory at the exact moment. The village has chosen you. She extended her hand. Tainá hesitated for a second, and then took her hand. Her skin was cold, but not unpleasant, like touching cool water on a hot night. Come, you have until dawn. The women stepped aside, making a path, and Tainá entered the village. It was impossible. Huts made of white wood, from a tree that didn't exist anywhere else in the Amazon he knew. Fires burned with blue flames, not red, blue, and in the center of the village, in an open clearing under the full moon, a large colorful cloth was spread on the grass, covered in food, fruits Tainá had never seen. Some glowed faintly, others had impossible colors, smoked fish with unknown herbs, the scent hypnotic, game meats seasoned with spices that didn't exist anywhere else, gourds filled with fermented drink glowing with golden light. Dozens of women were already seated around the cloth. All looked at Tainá as he approached. The leader gestured for him to sit. This is a sacred feast. It happens only 4 times a year, when the moon is at its peak, and when a worthy man finds a passage. Tainá sat down, his legs trembling. We have existed longer than your tribes, long before your ancestors came to these lands. We are daughters of the forest itself, born from the mother tree. But to continue existing, we need the blood of the men who respect the jungle. She took a glowing fruit and offered it to Tainá. Eat, drink, rest. You have 5 hours here. And when the moon begins to descend, one of us will choose you. Tainá ate. He drank from the golden beverage. Heat coursed through his body. His vision sharpened. His senses heightened. The women began to sing. An ancient melody, without words, just sound that seemed to come from the earth. The wind, the water. Tainá felt peace. And then she approached, a young woman, different from the others, Her hair was silver, not white, silver like the moonlight reflecting on water. And her eyes had pupils, blue, deep like the sky. She sat beside Tainá. I am Elira, and you have been chosen to be the father of the next guardian of this village. Tainá looked at her, speechless. You have doubts. I see them in your eyes. Ask. Tainá took a deep breath. Why me? Why was I chosen? Elira smiled. Because you believe, even without proof. Even when everyone doubted, you always believe that magic still exists in this forest. And that belief is rare, precious. She touched his face. Come, I want to show you something first. Elira led Tainá to the center of the village, and there stood the tree, the mother tree. It was enormous, so massive that its roots covered half the village, and it was completely white, albino, as if all color had been drained from it. But it was not dead, far from it. Its roots glowed, pulsed, like veins full of light, and from its trunk came a sound, low, deep, a heartbeat. This is the mother tree, the heart of the Amazon. It has existed for over 1,000 years. No one knows exactly. Elira placed her hand on the trunk. It created us, all of us. Tainá approached. He touched the tree, and he felt the breath of the entire forest, the pulse of millions of trees connected by invisible roots. He felt life, death, the eternal cycle. The mother tree sustains the entire Amazon. If it dies, the forest dies with it, and we vanish like mist at dawn. Tainá looked at Elira. Why show me this? Why reveal the secret? Because you will carry a part of it with you, inside your daughter. And she must know where she comes from, what she is part of. Elira held Tainá's hands. In 9 moons, a girl will be born here. She will have your dark eyes, your strength, but she will have my silver hair, my connection to the forest, and she will be the next guardian. Tainá felt tears in his eyes. Will I get to meet her? Elira shook her head sadly. No, you will never return. It is the law. Each man enters only once. If you tried again, the passage would not open, even if you search your entire life. But why? Because this place cannot be reached by will alone, only by grace. If men could return whenever they wanted, the village would be discovered, invaded, destroyed. The law protects us all. Tainá squeezed her hands. So this is the only night? The only one. Treasure every moment. Because when you leave, it will all seem like a dream, and you will spend the rest of your life wondering if it was real. They stayed there, under the mother tree, under the full moon, and time passed. Hours that felt like minutes. And then, Elira looked at the sky. Her expression changed. Serious. Concerned. Tainá, the moon is descending. You must go. Now. Tainá looked toward the horizon through the treetops. A faint light, almost imperceptible. But it was there. We still have time. No. Elira pulled him forcefully. You don't understand. If the sun catches you here, you will lose everything. All your memory, all your sight. You will go blind and wander the forest for the rest of your life, always searching for something you can't even remember. Panic seized Tainá. How much time do I have? 15 minutes. Maybe less. The forest is dense. Sunlight takes time to penetrate. But when it does, it will be too late. Elira dragged him to the edge of the village. The other women stood silently, watching. They were not sad, not happy, just accepting. This happened every full moon, for generations. Elira touched Tainá's forehead. In 9 moons, think of us at the same hour you entered here, midnight, and you will feel when she is born. She took a necklace from her neck, made of white shells. Take this to remember. to not doubt yourself on hard days. Tainá took the necklace, put it around his neck. I don't want to go. I know, but you must go now. Tainá looked at her one last time and ran. Tainá ran through the forest like never before. His lungs burned. His heart raced uncontrollably. He crossed a river. The water was now cold, ordinary. No glow, no memories, just an ordinary river. He stumbled over roots, fell, got up, kept running. The forest felt different now, darker, colder, more real. The magic had vanished. Tainá looked up through the branches. The light was increasing. No, no, no. His feet bled. His clothes were torn. But he didn't stop. And then he saw it. The forest edge. The dawn breaking between the trunks. Golden rays cutting through the darkness. Tainá used his last strength. 10 meters. 5 meters. 2 meters. And then he emerged. He left the forest exactly as the first full ray of sun touched the ground. Tainá fell to his knees, gasping, sweating, trembling. He turned around, looked at the forest. Just thick, impenetrable jungle. No trail, no mark, no sign of passage, as if none of it had ever happened. Tainá touched the necklace around his neck. The white shells were still there, cold to the touch. Real. It was real. It was real. It was real. He repeated it to himself, like a mantra, because he could already feel doubt creeping in. Was it a dream? A hallucination? Something in the drink? But the shells were there. He stood up and walked back to his village. Tainá returned to his tribe that morning. Everyone noticed a change in him. His eyes had a depth that wasn't there before. He spoke less, observed more, as if he were always listening to something no one else could hear. He told the elders a story. Some believed, others doubted, but everyone saw the white shell necklace, and everyone knew those shells did not exist in our region. 9 moons passed, and one night, exactly at midnight, Tainá woke up. He felt something, a wave of energy sweeping through the forest, a pulse, like a heartbeat. He knew his daughter had been born. Somewhere in the secret village, under the mother tree, a girl with silver hair and dark eyes opened her eyes for the first time. Tainá cried, with joy, with sadness, with longing for something he could never have. He stepped out of his hut, looked at the forest, and whispered to the night, "I know you're there. I feel you. I always will." From that day on, Tainá tried to find a passage again. Every full moon, he entered the forest at 6 p.m., searched for 6 hours, waited until midnight. But the passage never opened for him again. He saw the white flowers, but they vanished. He heard laughter, but it drifted away. He crossed the river, but on the other side, only darkness. The village had closed itself to him, as if it had never existed. But Tainá never stopped believing. And every full moon at midnight, he felt it, felt the presence of his daughter, growing, becoming a guardian, felt the mother tree pulsing in the heart of the forest. And he knew that even without being able to see them, they were there, always have been, always will be. I am Kanauã, guardian of the night's mysteries in the Amazon jungle. And as long as the forest breathes, I will keep telling its stories. The stories it whispers, only to those who know how to listen. The secret village of white women exists. It is there right now, at this very moment. But it only reveals itself to the worthy, to those who believe, even without proof, even when everyone doubts. The passage will open again on the next powerful full moon, and another man will be chosen. Another man will cross the river of memory. Another father will leave a piece of himself in the village, and the cycle will continue, as it always has, as it always will. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and tell me in the comments, Do you believe in the guardian spirits of the forest? Would you dare to search for the passage for 6 hours in darkness, knowing you might never return? The jungle listens. The jungle watches. The jungle never forgets. And the jungle never sleeps until the next moon.